This week in Jelly Babies are seriously the weirdest thing they're effigies of babies that we eat. Malarkey. Malarkey is a word that we use to mean nonsense or bunkum. Or as my OED says, I need to find it now. M-E, M-A-U, M-A-R. Lots of M-A-Rs. Malnourished, Malay. Malarkey. Humbug or nonsense. In a more general sense, I tend to use it to mean something which is either chaotic or some kind of chaotic play, like horseplay or hijinks. Proper synonyms, let's go with that. Proper synonyms for malarkey are balderdash baloney, if you're from New York, I assume. If you are from New York and you say baloney, can you please say that to me, because it would give me great joy. Claptrap, codswallop, humbuggery, which sounds more like a verb than a noun. Piffle and rot and tosh and twaddle. Antonyms are sense and sensibleness and rationality and order and wisdom and discernment. Also, oddly enough, according to Merriam-Webster's online thesaurus, horse sense. Horse sense. It is sort of common sense and amusing to note that things which don't work, or things that are generally seen to be nonsense, often have the most playful words attached to them, and things which are very serious and that do work or have order to them often have very solemn words attached to them. Now, all of that makes certain sense. I mean, it's just one of those things that seems sort of logical, really, but when you pull it apart, it's sort of interesting. I mean, something which Blind Boy said once: the most absurd ideas are always surrounded with the greatest amount of solemnity, which is brilliant. Think of completely absurd ideas and think about how difficult it is to take the mick out of some of those ideas without getting killed. Years ago, I used to work in restaurants, and one of the common things, I worked at a chain which was run by a very famous chef, although he had almost nothing to do with that chain anymore. People would often come in and ask whether that particular chef, that particular famous chef, was in the kitchen. And my constant sort of crap waiter joke was to say, yeah, he's in the pot wash right now, and then some old ladies or some young family would sort of titter. One day someone decided to get very annoyed with that. He claimed that he worked for PR agencies in London, and that me saying that was a terrible thing to say. My response to that is, nothing is above humour. Either way, that almost got me sacked. Luckily my manager knew that I wasn't to everyone's taste, which I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. Right, so malarkey, we know what it means, but what's the etymology? That's the point in these videos. The evergreen and everwise etymology.com says that its first use was in 1924. It gives the definition of it, and then it says it's also an Irish surname. It then goes on to say that it was in use at round about the same time as another American English slang word, which I'm gonna have to read this. Just Acamaracus, which is extremely fun to say. Are you American English? Do you know anybody who says Acamaracus? What is it? What? Acamaracus. Back to malarkey, and interestingly enough, Wiktionary gives us the best answer, probably the most plausible one, although you can't really use Wiktionary or Wikipedia as a source. For me, they're always the beginning of understanding something, and then I go to the sources that they cite. Unfortunately, recently, Wiktionary has been quite useful and quite good. This time, I'm going to give it a pass. Wiktionary claims that it could be derivation of the Greek word malakia, which means idiocy or stupidity. It then goes on to say that malarkey was popularised by Thomas Dorgan, who first used it in 1922 in one of his comic strips. He was a cartoonist. My favourite association with the word malarkey goes back to a British panel show, probably from the early 2000s. I can't really remember. It was either QI or Mock the Week or Have I Got News For You? One of those ones where they get comedians to talk about the news, and one of them said that the latest health and safety minister or health and safety executive had the surname Malarkey, which was very amusing at the time. However, none of my research has been able to find out whether that's true, or it probably isn't true. Oh well, I mean, if you've liked this video, then you can find a full archive of them and they'll be properly framed, not this dumb real close stuff that I have to use on Instagram, on YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube, then you can find some of these videos on Instagram. Maybe go and give me a follow. Sometimes I'll post something that you might be interested in. Whatever. Have a good week, or don't. I mean, if things are going badly for you, then hopefully I've brought a little bit of joy and some knowledge to your life. Either way, take care of yourself. Bye bye.